The silence of the forest shattered abruptly as a sharp crackling sound pierced the calm, startling birds into a chaotic escape toward the skies. Somewhere deep within the woods, smoke curled lazily upward, winding gently through tree branches like a curious serpent exploring unfamiliar territory. Amidst this strange scene rested a sleek vessel, its silver body half buried in the soil, glowing faintly as if struggling to hold onto whatever life it had left. A soft hiss echoed through the silence, and from within the ship emerged a delicate figure. Her skin shimmered slightly under the filtered sunlight, tinted in soft hues of pale blue and lavender. She blinked large, curious eyes, deep purple with flecks of silver, squinting uncertainly as she adjusted to the brightness of Earth's sun. Every sound, every rustle of leaves, every distant chirping bird fascinated and perplexed her equally. Her footsteps were cautious, deliberate, and yet carried the innocence of someone who had never before set foot on solid ground. As she explored her new surroundings, questions cascaded through her thoughts. Trees appeared majestic, but unnecessarily tall. Grass felt oddly comforting against her bare, slender feet. Even the wind brushing against her skin felt like an intimate greeting from this alien world. She moved carefully, observing everything with an almost childlike wonder, occasionally touching the rough bark of trees or the soft petals of strange, brightly colored flowers. Drawn by distant murmurs and bursts of laughter, she moved silently toward the source, eyes wide with curiosity. Soon, through the leaves, she spotted a group of strange beings. Humans, she realized with astonishment. Communicating through spoken language, she found puzzling yet oddly musical. Their clothing intrigued her. Why did they cover themselves? She tilted her head slightly, unable to understand the necessity. Did these beings lack natural defenses, or was it merely a cultural tradition? She leaned forward to get a better view, fascinated by the complexities of their interactions, the smiling faces, casual touches, and subtle movements. Suddenly, the branch beneath her hand snapped, sending a loud crack echoing through the quiet clearing. The humans turned abruptly toward her hiding spot, their laughter instantly replaced by wary glances. Heart pounding, the alien girl retreated swiftly, confused by the sudden fear surging within her chest. After running a safe distance, she paused, breathing heavily and questioning her own reaction. Fear was new to her, and she found the experience fascinating but uncomfortable. Gathering courage again, she ventured carefully onward, determined to learn more. Soon, she stumbled across another figure, this one alone. A human boy seated quietly beneath a sprawling oak, his attention absorbed entirely by a strange rectangular object in his hand. She approached him carefully, curiosity overwhelming caution. He didn't notice her at first, lost deeply in whatever occupied his attention, until a shadow gently fell across his face. Looking upward, the boy gasped sharply and stumbled backward, eyes wide and mouth agape. His surprise, she noted, appeared similar to the feeling she had just experienced. Slowly, she knelt before him, trying her best to appear non-threatening. The boy stammered, unable to form words, clearly bewildered by the unusual sight before him. Sensing his confusion and perhaps fear, she tilted her head curiously, observing him closely from head to toe. Something confused her deeply, causing her brows to furrow thoughtfully. After a silent moment, she innocently looked down at herself, then back at the startled human, confusion deepening further in her violet eyes. With genuine curiosity and innocence shimmering in her voice, she asked softly, "Between my legs, is that a human thing?" The boy's eyes widened further in shocked disbelief, his cheeks flushing a vibrant shade of crimson, leaving a thick silence lingering between them, an awkward pause filled with unspoken questions, confusion, embarrassment, and a strange sense of intrigue that neither fully understood yet. The boy remained frozen, his mind racing frantically to grasp what he just heard. The alien girl's question echoed oddly in the silence between them, hanging awkwardly in the air like some strange, unspoken puzzle. He opened his mouth, intending to reply, but found himself unable to form coherent words. His face, now burning with embarrassment, clearly indicated how utterly unprepared he was for such an unusual situation. Noticing his reaction, the alien girl tilted her head slightly, studying him closely. Her violet eyes shimmered with genuine curiosity, not embarrassment or discomfort, emotions entirely foreign to her. She gently pointed at herself, then looked at the boy expectantly, waiting for an explanation. "Ah, I think you might be confused," the boy finally managed to say, shifting uncomfortably on the grassy earth. His eyes wandered everywhere, but avoided directly looking at her, his heart beating fast. "Confused," she echoed softly, tasting the unfamiliar word on her tongue. "Your reaction suggests I've made you uncomfortable. Have I?" He swallowed nervously and nodded slowly. "Kind of. Humans, we don't really talk about." He gestured awkwardly toward her, feeling even more embarrassed. "Those things openly, especially not with strangers." "Strangers," she repeated thoughtfully, her eyes brightening as she absorbed the concept. "Ah, we are unknown to each other. On my world, such curiosity is natural. Understanding differences helps us communicate." "Your world?" he asked, his curiosity suddenly overtaking embarrassment. "You're not from here, right? You're an alien." She smiled gently, her expression warm and open. "Alien," she mused softly, amused by the sound of the word. "To you, yes. To me, you are the alien. But I suppose that term fits." Despite his initial embarrassment, the boy felt his fear subsiding, replaced by intrigue. He cautiously stepped closer, observing her more clearly now. Her slender frame, delicate features, and shimmering skin marked her clearly as something not of Earth. He'd only ever imagined such encounters in books or movies, never expecting to be living this moment in real life. "My name's Alex," he offered hesitantly, feeling awkward yet oddly comfortable sharing this information. "Alex," she repeated, savoring the simplicity of his name. "A pleasant sound. My name is Liora." "Liora," Alex echoed thoughtfully, becoming more comfortable with each passing moment. "Why did you come here? Did your ship crash?" Liora glanced behind her, sadness creeping momentarily into her gaze. "It malfunctioned. I came to observe humanity, your behaviors, customs, interactions, but something went wrong. Now something important has been lost." "What exactly have you lost?" Alex asked, sensing her distress. "A crystal," she answered quietly, her eyes shimmering with unease. "It powers my ship. Without it, I cannot return home." Before Alex could respond, voices echoed nearby, followed by footsteps crunching through leaves. Panic surged within Alex, instinctively reaching for Liora's wrist and pulling her swiftly behind a thick cluster of bushes. The alien girl appeared confused but didn't resist, carefully following his lead. From their hidden vantage point, they watched cautiously as several humans emerged into the clearing. The newcomers wore dark clothing, moved with authority, and carried strange instruments. Alex instantly recognized their serious expressions as those of government agents, people clearly investigating something abnormal, something just like Liora. His heart raced, sensing immediate danger. Liora, however, studied the agents curiously, unconcerned yet intensely interested. Her eyes lingered thoughtfully on their equipment, movements, even their stiff posture. She whispered softly to Alex, her voice filled with innocent curiosity. "Who are they, Alex? Their behavior seems different from yours." "They're not friends," he answered quickly, voice barely audible. "They're probably looking for your ship, or for you. Humans tend to fear what they don't understand." "Fear," she mused softly. "You experienced fear when you saw me, yet you stayed. Why?" Alex hesitated, glancing briefly into her gentle eyes. "Because sometimes curiosity is stronger than fear." She smiled warmly, evidently pleased by his answer. They quietly watched as the agents spread out, clearly searching the surrounding area. Alex felt his pulse quicken, his mind scrambling for a plan. He knew they couldn't stay hidden forever. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the agents moved onward, their voices fading slowly into the distance. Alex exhaled, realizing he'd held his breath far too long. He glanced at Liora, who seemed strangely fascinated, as though she'd just learned something important about humans. "What do we do now?" Alex asked, worried. Liora stared thoughtfully at the spot where the agents had stood moments ago. "My crystal. I believe they have found it." A sense of dread crept over Alex. He knew that retrieving the crystal wouldn't be easy, not from government agents trained precisely to handle situations like this. Still, he couldn't abandon Liora. Not now, not ever. Looking deeply into her inquisitive eyes, Alex made a decision. "I'll help you get it back, but you must trust me and promise not to say awkward things in front of other humans. They might misunderstand." Liora tilted her head, a faint smile appearing on her lips. "I trust you, Alex. I'll follow your instructions carefully, even if human customs remain puzzling." Despite his fears, Alex felt a sense of relief, and perhaps even excitement, as he realized he'd just agreed to help an alien girl he barely knew. The thought alone felt surreal, unbelievable, yet oddly thrilling. As they carefully began their journey, weaving silently through the trees, Alex couldn't help but wonder what else Liora might ask, what strange misunderstandings might come next, and how long he could manage to hide her innocence from a world far too quick to fear and misunderstand. Their adventure had only just begun. Alex and Liora moved quietly beneath the gentle rustling of leaves, shadows dancing playfully around them, as the sun slowly began its descent behind the distant hills. The fading golden glow painted their path in warm hues, contrasting sharply with the tension lingering between the two companions. Liora's expression remained calmly curious, absorbing everything she encountered with childlike wonder, while Alex's mind raced anxiously, sorting through possibilities and outcomes. The mysterious crystal, an artifact essential for Liora's journey home, loomed large in Alex's thoughts. If the government agents indeed had it, he knew retrieving it would be nearly impossible. Yet one glance at Liora's innocent, trusting expression was enough to steel his resolve. He couldn't abandon her now. Finally, they stopped near an ancient oak tree, its sprawling roots like massive fingers gripping the earth beneath. Here Alex turned toward Liora, his voice hushed yet firm. "We have to make a plan. Those people who took your crystal, they aren't ordinary humans. They're dangerous." "Dangerous," Liora repeated thoughtfully, rolling the unfamiliar word carefully on her tongue. Her eyes narrowed slightly, shimmering with curiosity and confusion. "Are all humans dangerous?" "No," Alex corrected quickly, realizing he'd unintentionally missled her perception of humanity. "Many humans are kind, peaceful even. But some fear what they don't understand, and they can hurt what scares them." Liora tilted her head thoughtfully. "Do I scare humans?" Alex hesitated, considering his response carefully. "Not me. But others might be frightened because they've never seen anyone like you before." Her violet eyes softened gently, reflecting the golden glow of twilight. "Fear is interesting," she murmured, stepping closer and looking deeply into his worried face. "But kindness and courage fascinate me far more." A blush warmed Alex's cheeks, and he quickly looked away, suddenly aware of his heartbeat quickening. Clearing his throat, he refocused, reminding himself of their immediate task. "Do you know how we can locate your crystal? Does it have a signal or anything we can follow?" She nodded eagerly, suddenly animated. "Yes, my crystal emits a faint frequency. With my wristband." She held up a delicate hand, displaying a thin silver band encircling her wrist. "I can detect its direction, as long as we remain close." Alex felt hope flicker within him, quickly overshadowed by caution. "Okay, good, but we must be careful and avoid being seen." "Can you stay quiet?" Liora smiled playfully, mimicking his whisper. Quiet, yes. Silence is important when facing danger. Together, they moved silently through the deepening dusk, Liora periodically glancing at her wristband, making subtle adjustments to their path. Alex marveled at her grace, her footsteps impossibly soft, nearly floating. For a moment, he found himself distracted by her ethereal elegance, before forcing himself to remain alert and vigilant. Eventually, Liora paused abruptly, eyes wide with excitement, holding up her wristband for Alex to see. The tiny device glowed gently, pulsating softly. "It's nearby," she whispered excitedly, her voice barely audible above the whispering breeze. Alex scanned their surroundings carefully, noticing a fenced perimeter ahead, dim lights illuminating a small building guarded by two serious-looking agents. He swallowed nervously, feeling his pulse accelerate. It's there, inside that building. This isn't going to be easy. Liora examined the structure thoughtfully. We must enter unseen. Perhaps there's a different entrance. Alex nodded slowly, noticing an open ventilation shaft hidden beneath an overgrowth of vines along the sidewall. He motioned silently toward it, gently leading Liora closer. Kneeling quietly, he cleared the vines away, revealing the narrow entrance. We'll have to crawl through here quietly. Without hesitation, Liora slipped gracefully into the opening, her slender form easily navigating the confined space. Alex quickly followed, heart pounding fiercely in his chest, adrenaline fueling his every movement. Darkness wrapped around them tightly as they crawled cautiously forward, guided solely by the rhythmic glow from Liora's wristband. At last, they reached an opening and carefully pushed aside the small grate, peering into the room beyond. Inside was a sterile, bright space filled with advanced equipment and monitoring screens, clearly designed for investigation. At the center rested a transparent case housing a softly glowing crystal, radiating gentle pulses of turquoise and lavender, the lost crystal. Alex felt relief wash over him momentarily, quickly replaced by caution as he spotted cameras watching every corner of the room. It's guarded electronically, he whispered, feeling uncertain how to proceed. If we enter, they'll know immediately. Liora studied the technology with calm fascination, thinking briefly. Perhaps we can distract their sensors, she whispered softly. She removed a small metallic disc from her belt, explaining quietly. This creates an electromagnetic pulse, temporarily confusing sensors. It's limited, but we have a chance. He nodded nervously. Ready? Her smile was radiant, reassuring him despite the danger. Ready. With a deep breath, Liora pressed the disc's surface and tossed it gently across the room. Instantly, lights flickered briefly, and the cameras began to swivel in confusion. Seizing the moment, Alex slipped swiftly into the room, heart hammering as he approached the crystal, beautifully glowing in soft blues and greens, suspended within a clear containment case. Carefully, he opened it and lifted the crystal, feeling warmth radiate gently into his palm. Just as he turned to retreat, alarms erupted in shrill cries, red lights illuminating the entire room. Panic surged within him. Their cover was blown. Quickly turning, Alex saw Liora's eyes widen in fear for the first time, clearly recognizing immediate danger. Hurry, Alex, she urged gently, her voice shaking slightly, betraying worry for the first time. Rushing toward the grate, Alex handed her the crystal. Go first, he commanded urgently. She nodded, crawling quickly back into the narrow vent. As Alex followed, the sound of heavy footsteps and shouting filled the room behind them, signaling agents' frantic pursuit. They scrambled desperately, pushing their bodies through darkness, breathing heavily as panic surged. Finally, breaking through the outside vines, they burst into the cool night air and began sprinting toward the dark safety of the forest. Only once safely hidden among the thick shadows of tall trees did they stop, gasping deeply, hearts racing in rhythm with one another. Alex glanced at Liora, holding the precious crystal protectively against her chest, eyes wide with excitement and fear. He knew their troubles were far from over, aware the agents wouldn't easily abandon their search. But as he stood there under the rising stars, feeling the presence of this remarkable being beside him, he sensed that something far greater had begun. An adventure, a friendship, perhaps even a bond unlike anything he'd imagined possible. Taking a deep breath, Alex looked into Liora's glowing, curious eyes, silently promising he would protect her no matter the risks. Together, they stepped forward into the darkness, ready to face whatever awaited them next. The moon hung low in the night sky, bathing the forest in gentle silver light. Alex and Liora moved swiftly yet silently among the trees, distancing themselves from the chaos they'd narrowly escaped. Each step took them deeper into unfamiliar territory, away from the security of what Alex had always considered normal. Yet, as he glanced at the strange girl beside him, whose delicate features glistened faintly beneath moonbeams, he couldn't deny feeling a profound fascination and something like wonder mixed with fear. Eventually, they'd reached the edge of the forest, emerging onto an empty suburban street illuminated by softly glowing street lamps. The houses stood quiet, their windows mostly darkened as the neighborhood slumbered peacefully, oblivious to the extraordinary pair passing through. Humans live close together, Liora remarked softly, her violet eyes widening curiously at the rows of houses. Why? It's safer, Alex explained quietly, glancing nervously down the street. Humans prefer groups. It makes them feel secure, connected. Connection, she murmured thoughtfully, absorbing the concept. Yet you hide secrets from each other, afraid of truth. Alex shrugged awkwardly, smiling slightly. Sometimes the truth scares us more than lies. Liora tilted her head, considering his words, then stepped forward onto the sidewalk, fascinated by its rough texture beneath her bare feet. She touched a mailbox gently, examining it with innocent curiosity, softly murmuring to herself about human habits. Alex quickly caught up, urgently guiding her further into the neighborhood. "You can't just touch everything," Alex whispered, his voice gentle yet firm. "People will notice something strange." Liora blinked in confusion. "But how can I learn without exploration?" Alex paused, considering her words carefully. "You can explore, but carefully. Humans are complicated. They don't always understand when someone is different." She nodded earnestly. "Then teach me to blend in, Alex. I trust you." His heart fluttered slightly, but he quickly dismissed it as nerves, nodding back seriously. "First, clothing. Humans don't walk around like." He blushed slightly, gesturing toward her slender form. "You stand out." She looked down at herself thoughtfully, clearly puzzled. "Humans hide themselves. Why?" "Privacy, modesty. It's complicated," he whispered, guiding her toward his house, relief washing over him as he realized his parents were away for the weekend. Once safely inside, he handed her an oversized hoodie and sweatpants. Liora stared at the garments in utter confusion, gently touching the fabric as if it were some mysterious alien artifact. Alex chuckled softly at her bewildered expression, patiently guiding her through dressing herself. Once clothed, Liora stared at her reflection in a mirror, eyes sparkling with excitement and astonishment. "I look human," she whispered softly, smiling broadly at Alex. "It feels strange." He grinned back warmly, realizing how endearing her innocence was. Yet moments later, a loud knock echoed sharply from the front door, interrupting their brief peace and plunging them into fresh panic. Heart racing, Alex carefully moved toward the door, peeking cautiously through a small gap. Two dark-suited figures stood outside, faces stern, serious, clearly government agents tracking them. His blood ran cold with dread. "Hide," he whispered urgently to Liora, motioning quickly toward the stairs. She complied instantly, slipping soundlessly upstairs to hide. Alex opened the door hesitantly, feigning confusion. "Can I help you?" "We're looking for something unusual," One agent stated flatly, eyes piercing Alex with suspicion. "Have you seen anything strange tonight?" Alex shrugged, desperately attempting calmness. "No, nothing. Just been home all evening." The agent studied him closely, obviously doubtful, but eventually nodded curtly. "Report anything suspicious," one said firmly, before turning and disappearing into the night, their footsteps fading slowly. Exhaling heavily, Alex closed the door, trembling slightly. He turned quickly, rushing upstairs to find Liora seated quietly on his bedroom floor, looking intensely intrigued as she examined the human objects scattered around her. Books, video games, clothing. "Those people frighten you," she whispered softly, observing him intently. "Yes," Alex admitted slowly. "They're searching for you. They won't stop easily." Liora studied his expression quietly before rising gracefully and stepping close. Her eyes were thoughtful, sincere, almost glowing with gentle warmth. "Why risk yourself to protect me?" Alex hesitated, unsure how to express the complexity swirling inside him. "Because you deserve kindness. You're innocent, curious, and alone." Her gaze softened deeply, and without warning, she reached forward, gently touching Alex's hand. Her touch sent warmth flooding through him, a sensation both comforting and exhilarating. "Humans," she murmured softly, "are capable of such kindness, yet hide behind fear. It's puzzling, beautiful, confusing." Suddenly, headlights flashed briefly outside the window, causing Alex's heart to lurch again. He stepped quickly toward the window, peering cautiously through curtains. Another vehicle, this time clearly marked with government insignia, had parked nearby, agents stepping out purposefully. "We have to move," Alex whispered urgently, turning toward Liora. "They're back." Without question, she followed his lead, exiting silently through the back door. The night seemed heavier now, shadows deepening ominously around them. Together, they quickly slipped into the cover of trees, moving swiftly through darkness until the neighborhood lay safely behind. After what felt like hours, they reached an abandoned park, shadows stretching around rusted swings and weathered benches. Exhausted, Alex sat heavily upon one bench, breathing deeply. Liora sat beside him gently, observing quietly, her expression thoughtful and earnest. "Your people misunderstand each other," she said softly. "Yet beneath fear lies kindness and courage. Why hide it?" Alex met her gaze, feeling exposed yet safe. Because humans are afraid of vulnerability. Trusting someone else is risky. She reached out, carefully touching his shoulder, a comforting gesture entirely new to her. "But trust brought you here, with me. Perhaps vulnerability holds great strength." He nodded slowly, realizing she touched upon something profoundly true. For a quiet moment, they simply sat together, feeling strangely comforted by the presence of each other beneath the vastness of the night sky. However, their peaceful moment abruptly ended as Alex's phone vibrated urgently, lighting up with frantic notifications. He glanced down, eyes widening fearfully. Warnings, alerts, government notices flooding social media about unidentified intruders. Their world had just grown infinitely more complicated. Glancing again at Liora, whose gentle gaze remained trusting yet uncertain, Alex knew there was no turning back. He silently promised himself he'd protect her from the confusion and danger humanity posed. No matter how complicated, frightening, or uncertain their future became, he felt oddly prepared, knowing that courage and kindness, qualities she'd awakened deeply within him, would guide them forward. Rising determinedly, he offered Liora his hand, whispering gently, "We have to keep moving." Smiling softly, she grasped his hand warmly, the connection powerful yet reassuring, and together they stepped bravely into the unknown darkness, ready to confront whatever came next. The first rays of dawn spilled softly across the horizon, painting the world in delicate pastels as Alex and Liora moved carefully through the outskirts of town. Fatigue tugged at Alex's limbs, each step heavier than the last, but the urgency that had driven him through the night overshadowed any exhaustion he felt. Liora, however, seemed unaffected, still observing the world around her with endless curiosity, as if sleep were an unnecessary inconvenience for beings like her. Alex knew they couldn't run forever. Their faces now flashed across every newsfeed, social media buzzing with speculative rumors of alien invasions and government conspiracies. Liora, though innocent, had become a hunted entity, and Alex himself was branded as her accomplice. The realization weighed heavily upon him. Yet whenever he glanced at Liora's trusting, gentle expression, he found himself incapable of regret. By mid-morning, they'd reached an old warehouse on the outskirts, long abandoned and forgotten. Rust covered the metal exterior like ancient scars, and broken windows stared blankly outward, remnants of lost industry. Alex carefully pushed open the creaking metal door, motioning Liora inside the dim interior. She stepped forward cautiously, violet eyes wide with fascination, taking in the strange, human-made structure. "This place, it's quiet," she murmured softly, her voice echoing gently within the cavernous space. "Is it safe here?" "For now," Alex answered quietly, looking around uneasily. "At least until we can figure out what to do next." As they moved deeper inside, sunlight filtered through cracks in the ceiling, illuminating clouds of dust drifting lazily in the air. Liora stepped into one of these golden beams, marveling silently as the particles swirled gracefully around her outstretched hand. Alex watched quietly, captivated by her serene innocence despite the chaos that surrounded them. Their brief peace shattered abruptly as distant engines roared loudly outside, tires crunching harshly over gravel. Panic surged within Alex, and he quickly grabbed Liora's hand, pulling her deeper into the shadows. Moments later, the heavy doors slammed open violently, sending echoes bouncing through the building. Government agents burst inside, their flashlights piercing the gloom sharply. Voices shouted orders, footsteps pounding urgently across the concrete floor. Alex's pulse thundered fiercely, realizing that escape might now be impossible. "We have to hide," he whispered frantically to Liora, desperately searching the darkness for any sign of safety. "There," she said gently, pointing calmly toward a narrow staircase descending into what appeared to be a storage basement. Alex quickly guided her toward it, praying they wouldn't be spotted. Downstairs, shadows pressed around them thickly, creating a maze of abandoned crates and rusted equipment. Alex and Liora crouched silently, listening fearfully as heavy footsteps approached their hiding place. Holding his breath, Alex prayed for a miracle. But miracles rarely favored desperation. Moments later, a flashlight beam sliced sharply through darkness, blinding Alex briefly as agents surrounded them, weapons drawn, expressions fierce. "Stand up slowly," commanded a firm voice. "No sudden moves." Reluctantly, Alex rose, gently pulling Liora protectively behind him. His heart raced as he faced the agent whose eyes bore into him coldly. "She hasn't done anything wrong," Alex pleaded, voice trembling yet strong. "She just wants to go home." The agent ignored his plea, eyes fixed coldly upon Liora, curiosity flickering beneath suspicion. "Step forward," he ordered sharply, gesturing toward the alien girl. Liora stepped gently forward, eyes filled not with fear, but with innocent curiosity and a gentle bravery that surprised even Alex. "I do not mean harm," she said softly, calmly addressing the agents. "My purpose is merely exploration, understanding." The agents exchanged puzzled glances, clearly unprepared for such calm sincerity. Alex saw a brief window and seized it quickly. "You don't have to fear her," he said earnestly. "She's peaceful, far kinder than many humans I've known." The lead agent hesitated briefly, uncertainty flickering in his hard expression. But before he could respond, an unexpected explosion of noise erupted upstairs, causing everyone to jump sharply. Confusion reigned as radio chatter filled the air, frantic voices echoing instructions. Suddenly, an agent rushed downstairs, his face pale with urgency. "We've got another craft, another alien ship, approaching rapidly." Everyone upstairs immediately. Chaos erupted as agents hurriedly retreated, leaving Alex and Liora temporarily unguarded. Alex stared at her in disbelief, stunned by this new revelation. "Is that your people? Did they come for you?" Liora's eyes shimmered with confusion and uncertainty. "I do not know," she whispered softly, clearly surprised. "My people were not supposed to return yet." Something has changed. Above, voices shouted urgently, heavy footsteps pounding as agents scrambled outside to meet this new arrival. Alex seized the opportunity, gently gripping Liora's hand once more, urging her quietly. "We have to get out of here. Now." They ascended quickly, cautiously emerging into bright daylight, momentarily blinded. What greeted them was astonishing. A massive, shimmering craft hovering silently above, its sleek form effortlessly defying gravity. Beneath it, agents scattered in panic, weapons drawn but useless against such a display of advanced power. Liora gazed upward, eyes wide with awe and wonder. "It's my people, Alex," she whispered, voice filled with relief and happiness. "They've returned for me." Alex felt both relief and sadness intertwine inside him. Their adventure, however brief, had connected them profoundly. The thought of losing her filled him with unexpected sorrow. Slowly, the hovering craft lowered gently toward them, its glowing underside opening softly. A warm, comforting light spilled forth, beckoning Liora homeward. She glanced toward Alex, hesitating momentarily, sensing his conflicting emotions. "I must return," she murmured gently, stepping closer to him. "But you have given me something invaluable. You've taught me about courage, kindness, friendship, even love." "Thank you, Alex." He felt his throat tighten painfully, emotions overwhelming. "Will I see you again?" Her smile was warm, gentle, infinitely reassuring. "We have forged a connection that cannot be broken easily. Trust that we shall meet again." Before stepping toward her ship, Liora leaned close, placing a soft, gentle kiss upon Alex's cheek. Her touch lingered warmly, filling him with bittersweet happiness. Then, gracefully, she turned, ascending slowly into the ship's welcoming embrace. Alex watched silently, heart pounding, eyes shimmering with emotion. As the craft rose silently into the sky, he realized their brief journey had changed him profoundly, forever altering how he perceived humanity, trust, and himself. But his thoughts shattered once more as agents surrounded him again, this time less aggressively, their eyes filled not with suspicion, but awe and wonder. One agent stepped forward, voice quiet yet commanding respect. "Tell us everything you know," he requested gently. Looking upward into the blue sky where Liora had vanished moments before, Alex felt calm courage surge within him. He nodded slowly, determined to protect her memory and share the profound truth he'd discovered through her innocent curiosity. That humans, despite their flaws, held within themselves great potential for kindness and understanding, if only they embraced courage instead of fear. Alex's pulse thundered heavily in his chest, echoing like distant drumbeats as he and Liora slipped cautiously through the shadowed alleyways and narrow passageways on the outskirts of town. The night seemed colder now, air thickening with uncertainty and fear. Despite escaping immediate danger, Alex knew the safety they found was fragile and fleeting. Liora followed close beside him, quiet but thoughtful, her expression now carrying deeper shadows of worry, something Alex hadn't previously seen on her gentle, innocent face. Each step she took felt heavier, burdened by some unspoken truth she hadn't yet revealed. Alex, sensing her discomfort, paused beneath a street lamp casting a soft amber glow around them. "Are you all right, Liora?" he whispered gently, watching her face carefully. "You seem troubled." She hesitated, glancing downward, her delicate fingers lightly tracing the edges of the crystal, now safely secured in her palm. When she finally spoke, her voice trembled gently. "Alex, there is something I haven't shared yet. I fear your reaction. He stepped closer, gently placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Whatever it is, you can trust me. You're not alone. Liora raised her eyes, their deep violet depths filled with genuine sadness and concern. My people, we did not come to Earth by chance. My ship was not simply exploring. My kind came to determine if humanity is ready. Alex's brow furrowed in confusion. Ready for what? What do you mean? She hesitated briefly before continuing softly. My species is considering whether humans are ready for open communication. First contact between our worlds. I was sent here to observe, to understand your emotions, your values, your kindness, and your cruelty. Alex's heart raced wildly, suddenly understanding the gravity of what Liora revealed. His throat tightened, questions rapidly surfacing. What happens if your people decide we're not ready? Liora's eyes shimmered with sadness, glistening faintly under starlight. Then Earth will remain isolated. My people will withdraw, deeming humanity not yet evolved enough for peaceful coexistence. You might wait centuries before another opportunity arises. A deep silence stretched between them, heavy and profound. Alex felt the weight of her words, realizing the tremendous responsibility now placed upon his shoulders. The fate of humanity's first alien interaction seemed to rest entirely on their actions tonight. You've seen how humans behave. Alex murmured slowly, shame touching his voice. We're afraid, suspicious. Are you disappointed? She shook her head gently, stepping closer, violet eyes glistening softly. No, Alex. Humans are complex, both beautiful and complicated. I have seen fear, cruelty, confusion. But I've also seen compassion, courage, and trust, especially in you. Your actions give me hope. He felt warmth surge within him, even amidst his lingering anxiety. But your crystal, the government agents, they'll keep searching. If they catch you again. I understand the risks, she replied gently, determination strengthening her voice. But I cannot abandon my mission, not without giving humanity the chance it deserves. Just then, distant sounds broke through the quiet night. The hum of approaching vehicles, headlights piercing darkness, rapidly moving toward their hiding place. Alex's pulse quickened, fear returning sharply. He grasped Liora's hand instinctively, pulling her swiftly into the shadows behind a nearby building. Breath ragged with urgency. Agents quickly filled the street, their voices sharp and commanding, flashlights slicing through the darkness like silver swords. Alex and Liora pressed themselves tightly against the cold stone wall, hearts pounding fiercely, eyes wide as beams swept perilously close to their hiding spot. Spread out, an authoritative voice ordered sharply. We know they're here somewhere. As panic swelled within Alex, he turned toward Liora, whose eyes shone with calm resolution rather than fear. Liora, if they catch you, he whispered desperately, his voice choking slightly. Promise me you'll run. Don't sacrifice yourself for me. Her eyes softened gently, filled with profound understanding. Alex, sacrificing myself isn't my intention, but protecting you is important too. Friendship, connection. I've learned these from you. Before he could respond, footsteps rapidly approached their position, forcing them deeper into shadows, breathing quietly yet painfully. But the agent's search intensified, drawing dangerously near their hiding place. Realizing escape was impossible, Liora stepped decisively forward, standing tall, elegant and brave under the moonlight, the crystal glowing softly in her open palm. Stop, she called gently yet clearly, startling the agents momentarily. Her presence, serene, courageous, and otherworldly, caused the humans to hesitate, momentarily confused. Alex stepped forward, heart racing fiercely, joining her side determinedly. Listen to her, he pleaded desperately. She isn't a threat. She came to Earth peacefully. Please, just let her go. The lead agent paused uncertainly, eyes flickering between Alex's desperate expression and Liora's calm confidence. Finally, lowering his weapon slightly, The agent spoke cautiously. "What are you doing here? Why risk yourself openly?" Liora's voice resonated clearly, filled with gentle conviction. "Because humanity deserves a chance to know there's more out there. Fear controls you, but compassion guides you. My people sent me to learn whether you could peacefully share existence. Your reactions tonight will shape humanity's future." The agents exchanged uncertain glances, clearly taken aback. For a brief moment, silence gripped everyone, tension palpable. Finally, another voice spoke through a handheld communicator, crackling urgently. More agents were closing in, reinforcements swiftly approaching. The lead agent stared deeply into Liora's violet eyes, expression conflicted yet firm. "I cannot promise you safety. Others will come. But you must run now. Quickly." Surprised gratitude flooded Alex, understanding this small act of mercy might mean their survival. Nodding quickly, he grasped Liora's hand again, guiding her swiftly through a narrow alley, the urgent shouts behind them quickly fading into the distance. They ran until their lungs burned, finally collapsing exhausted near a small, quiet park. Breathing heavily, Alex glanced toward Liora, whose expression now radiated profound contemplation mixed with gentle sadness. "We've delayed them," she whispered softly, eyes reflecting starlight gently. "But eventually, they'll catch us. Then we keep moving." Alex whispered fiercely, determination clear in his voice. "Whatever it takes, we'll keep you safe." Her gaze softened warmly, reaching again to gently touch his face, a gesture of intimacy and gratitude. "Thank you, Alex. Your courage is humanity's greatest strength. Remember this when doubt creeps in." Standing silently together beneath the vast, star-filled sky, both realized their adventure was far from over. And yet, in that fragile moment, hope persisted. Liora had come to Earth seeking answers, but now she had discovered something infinitely more profound. Friendship, compassion, and courage. Qualities that perhaps, after all, made humanity worthy of first contact. Taking deep breaths, they moved again into the shadows, knowing the night held both danger and possibility, but determined to face whatever awaited them, together. The horizon blushed softly as dawn approached once more, golden rays gently touching the edge of darkness, painting a delicate line of hope across the world. Alex and Liora moved quietly, guided by instinct and driven by a powerful need for safety and resolution. They had spent countless hours evading capture, their exhaustion growing deeper, their bonds stronger, and their purpose clearer with every step. At last, the two companions arrived at a hilltop overlooking the town, the view sprawling before them. Quiet houses nestled peacefully beneath a sky slowly filling with gentle pastels. Alex took a deep breath, savoring the calm beauty, though tension still coiled tightly within his chest. Beside him, Liora gazed upward, violet eyes sparkling gently with reflections of distant stars fading into the morning light. "It's beautiful here," Liora murmured softly, her voice filled with awe and gentle admiration. "Your world holds wonders your people rarely appreciate." Alex smiled faintly, feeling a strange sadness tugging at him. "We forget sometimes. Life moves quickly, and humans rarely pause long enough to see what truly matters." She turned toward him gently, eyes deeply contemplative. "But you do, Alex. You've paused, observed, and taught me much. Your kindness and courage changed my understanding of humanity forever." He felt warmth spread within him, despite the cool dawn air. "And you've taught me bravery, trust, and curiosity. I'll never forget what you've given me, Liora." She nodded softly, her eyes shimmering with gentle sadness. "I must now contact my people. They await my report, and a decision must be made." Alex's heart tightened painfully, knowing their journey together neared its conclusion. Yet he understood its importance, and nodded solemnly, offering her space. Liora stepped forward, holding the crystal carefully, its surface glowing softly as she whispered words in her musical native tongue. Alex watched in quiet fascination, realizing he was witnessing something extraordinary, something humanity had dreamed of for generations. Moments passed in tense silence before the sky above suddenly shimmered, a radiant light softly illuminating their surroundings. Alex squinted upward, shielding his eyes as a sleek, graceful vessel materialized silently overhead, floating gently downward like a leaf settling upon a calm pond. Liora turned toward him, eyes wide and glowing brightly with emotion, her voice trembling slightly. "They've come for me, Alex. My mission here is complete. Now they will determine humanity's future." A powerful sadness overcame him, but he managed to smile gently, stepping close. "And what will you tell them?" She placed a delicate hand softly upon his chest, warmth radiating through her gentle touch. "I will speak the truth. Humans possess remarkable potential, courage even amidst fear, kindness within confusion, hope despite hardship. You've proven this." Her words resonated deeply within him, strengthening his resolve. "Will I ever see you again, Liora?" She tilted her head gently, her smile heartbreakingly soft yet reassuring. "We have created a bond stronger than worlds, Alex. Trust that our paths shall cross again." The vessel descended fully, its side opening silently to reveal an entrance bathed in soft, welcoming blue light. Yet before she could move, the roar of approaching engines and shouts echoed sharply from below. Government vehicles, lights flashing, quickly climbed toward their location, agents determined to prevent her departure. Alex's pulse surged fiercely. Time was limited. Agents poured from vehicles, swiftly surrounding them, weapons drawn cautiously, yet uncertainty flickered clearly within their hardened expressions. Tension thickened palpably. Suddenly, one of the agents stepped forward, a woman with stern features but gentle eyes. Her gaze softened slightly upon meeting Alex's determined stare, clearly recognizing the sincerity and desperation in him. "Why trust her?" she asked calmly, her voice strong yet carefully gentle. "Why risk yourself, young man?" Alex stood taller, finding courage within himself he didn't know existed, speaking clearly, firmly. "Because she's proven herself kinder, braver, and more understanding than many of us have been. She's not a threat. She's a friend." The agent's gaze lingered thoughtfully upon Liora, who stood calmly yet radiantly beside Alex, her gentle serenity unwavering even amid danger. Slowly, the woman lowered her weapon, signaling others to do the same, a small yet powerful gesture of trust. Liora's eyes glistened with warmth, gratitude, and hope. She moved slowly toward the vessel, then turned gently, addressing everyone present clearly and calmly. "Humans possess great fear, yet also remarkable courage. Embrace compassion, not suspicion. Your future depends upon the choice you make." Her gentle words echoed powerfully, resonating deeply with each person present. Alex watched silently, admiration glowing within him, proud of her courage and the kindness she'd shown even toward those who had pursued her relentlessly. Quietly, she stepped toward Alex, reaching out gently to embrace him, a deeply human gesture she'd learned through their shared experiences. Warmth surged through him profoundly, her touch comforting yet bittersweet. "Goodbye, Alex," she whispered softly. "Your world holds endless beauty. Remember to share it." As she pulled away gently, her eyes shimmered softly, full of gratitude and affection. Then gracefully, she stepped toward her waiting vessel, ascending effortlessly into its welcoming glow. Silence enveloped everyone as the ship rose silently, light brightening softly before gently vanishing, leaving only peaceful sky behind. Alex stood quietly, emotion swirling intensely within his chest. The agent who had lowered her weapon approached slowly, her voice gentle and thoughtful. "You did something brave tonight, Alex. You reminded us of our humanity." He glanced quietly at her, feeling strangely hopeful despite his grief. "Will she be safe?" The agent nodded slowly, sincerity clear in her eyes. "We will do what we can. Perhaps humanity is more ready than we realize." Suddenly, a gentle pulse of light appeared above once more. softer yet unmistakably familiar. Alex stared upward breathlessly as another craft slowly emerged, a different vessel, larger, majestic yet graceful. From within came a resonant voice, calm and gentle, filling their minds clearly. "We have observed your actions. Humanity has shown courage, compassion, and understanding. Perhaps the time has arrived for first steps toward friendship." Alex's eyes widened with awe and hope, warmth flooding deeply within him. Liora's message had reached them. Humanity was now being given a chance. Beside him, agents stood quietly, expressions filled not with fear, but awe, wonder, and perhaps hope. As the gentle glow illuminated them softly, Alex felt a deep certainty. Liora's innocent curiosity had forever changed them, opening doors previously unimaginable. Beneath the warmth of this remarkable moment, Alex whispered softly into the sky, confident his words would find their way somehow. "Thank you, Liora. Your courage taught us how to see beyond fear. We'll be ready." And somewhere beyond the stars, he felt certain she heard him clearly, her gentle smile echoing deeply within his heart, reassuring him their bond would remain forever unbroken, connected now by understanding, trust, friendship, and perhaps something deeper than either had imagined. Together, humanity stepped forward toward its new future, guided not by fear, but by courage, compassion, and hope, exactly as Liora had envisioned.